Just give up. Quit. Stop trying so hard. Spend some time studying the Taoist concept of Wu Wei. It'll change your life forever. Let's talk about it. First and foremost, what does Wu Wei even mean? It's a Chinese word. It essentially means effortless action or doing nothing. It doesn't mean be lazy or be sitting around like a piece of lard, no, but it means moving and living life without resistance, without fighting against the current of whatever the way your life is supposed to go. Just going with the flow. Wu Wei is often described as action that does not require excessive effort or force. Things just kind of happen. And every decision we make should be in accordance with the natural flow of the world, of the universe, of the cosmos. One example they give is that if you have a saw and you're cutting wood, if you cut against the way that the tree grew, the wood's going to be incredibly more difficult to cut. Even think about the idea of quicksand, right? The harder you fight, the faster you sink. Wu Wei is all about not fighting at all. Just letting things be what they need to be. Another example for my fellas, y'all be in the barbershop. If you've ever had a barber that was trash and cut your hair the wrong way, went against the grain, went all types of crazy ways, had your head looking like crop circles and all that, you know, when you don't go with the flow, if you got waves and you're not cutting with the waves, you're gonna mess your whole haircut up. That's what Wu Wei is like. Wu Wei is like cutting with the waves and not messing up your haircut. I know that's important to y'all. As I did research about this entire concept, it kind of reminded me of the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So this supports the Taoist belief that when humans actively try to make the world better, so many times we just make it worse. And it's only when we kind of get out the way that the world goes back to doing what it's supposed to do. Even we can take an example of 2020, right? It's so funny that when we stopped doing things we did as humans, we stopped being out so much, we stopped doing this, doing that, man, animals came back around, right? Animals start to emerge more. The weather was nice. Some seas and rivers that were dirty and filthy had the bluest waters that they had had in years. Even I believe in Chicago, I want to say swans came back to the Lake Michigan or something crazy. Just because humans just kind of got out the way. Because one observation I had about last year, when we chilled out, the birds still chirped, the trees still grew, the rain still fell, the sun still shined, the squirrels still ran around. You know what I'm saying? It was us that was really harming the earth. It wasn't the animals. It wasn't nature. It was us ruining things and taking them away from the natural order of how they were supposed to be. So according to Wu Wei, our job is to live in harmony with those things. It's to live in harmony with nature and not to try to force ourselves and force it to do things against its will. We should just go with the flow of whatever it's trying to be. We should fall in line with that. So where does Wu Wei and this whole Taoism concept even come from? Well, the Chinese word Tao essentially means the way or the path. According to Confucianism, which was another Chinese school of philosophy, there was a certain way in which humans should live their lives, a certain way they should conduct themselves and interact with the world and society at large. Taoism felt like Confucianism focused too much on man and not enough on nature. According to Daoists, the human life, the human experience was the smallest part of this larger process of whatever the cosmos was trying to do. So our decisions are inherently meaningless if they're not in accordance with nature. That's how we get to Wu Wei. Many Taoists believe that the cosmos is constantly regenerating itself according to this Tao concept, according to Wu Wei, and just going with the flow. So in the Dao De Jing, which is an ancient text where most of this info is found, it states that the way does nothing and yet is never unaccomplished. The way does nothing and yet is never unaccomplished. That's the key. We want to achieve things. We want to be great. We want to show ourselves through flow and not through struggle. It doesn't have to always be a struggle. And see, it also makes me think of desires and excessive indulgences and things like that, vain wants that we have in this earth. A lot of people who follow Taoism and who believe in this concept of Wu Wei believe that desires cause people to act irrationally and unnaturally, which causes great disturbance in their lives. So what does all this heady stuff mean to your journey? What does this Wu Wei concept mean to you? How can it apply to your life right now? Let me tell you about it, bro. one of our main goals, one of the main tenets, I believe, as of a man and just a person I can rely on and trust in general and look up to and respect, is being able to be composed in the most chaotic situations, right? Being even killed when things are frenetic. That allows us to carry out a task with maximum skill and efficiency. So for some more examples, many people who follow Taoism or study it and believe in Wu Wei believe that humans should be more like bamboo or a reed. You know, when it's windy out, the bamboo sways, but it doesn't break. It just sways in the wind, just kind of goes wherever the wind takes it, but it stands strong. They also say we should be like water. You know, it's this idea of water is one of the most calm and serene and submissive substances. However, even calm water can erode a rock, can cut through a rock with enough persistence over time. So even things you're trying to achieve, Wu Wei's not about not trying. It's not about sitting on your butt and being lazy. It's about having focused action and knowing when to act, knowing when to pursue, knowing when to grind, when to hustle, and when it's not time to, chill. Let things happen. I love this Bruce Lee quote. I'm sure you guys have heard it already, and I'll just read part of it. When Bruce Lee said, "Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless like water. If you put water into a cup, it becomes a cup. You put water into a bottle, and it becomes a bottle. You put it into a teapot, and it becomes a teapot." Water does not try to define what it should be, right? Water just kind of goes. If you put it into a cup the shape of SpongeBob, guess what? That water is going to conform to become the shape of SpongeBob. It's not going to ask you why. It's not going to question it or fight against it. It's just going to be the shape of SpongeBob. Now, for my Avatar fans or my Korra fans, y'all remember Zaheer, right? I believe it was season 3. When he would study this guy named Guru Lahima. Guru Lahima preached detachment. And the famous quote, one of my favorite quotes in the entire Avatar ecosystem and universe was, "Let go of your earthly tether. Enter the void, empty and become wind." So what that meant to me was, only when you completely surrender to the natural order of things can you truly be free. Now in the show, of course, Plea, I think her name was Plea, she had the metal wrapped around her face and she was a combustion bender, so essentially her head blew up. Zaheer had been studying this Guru Lahima and this air nomad philosophy for so long, and he knew everything about it, but he could never fly because he knew only when you fully detach can you fly. Plea was his last earthly tether. He was a villain, yes, he was fighting Korra, he was trying to kill her, all this stuff, right? But Plea was his last earthly tether. When he let go, when he saw that she was gone, then he could ascend. So he fell back and he started to fly. That's kind of how I see life, yo. When we fall back, instead let go of all these expectations and attachments, it doesn't mean be heartless, yo. It doesn't mean stop caring, it doesn't mean stop trying, but when you just let things go, like if you got a goal, right, and you're working towards this goal every day, resistance says you worry about a timeline. Resistance says you stress about who's where and who's not where and comparing yourselves to others. That's what resistance is. That's not Wu Wei. That's not going with the flow. You're making it harder on yourself. Because what you should be doing is trusting in divine timing. Divine timing says 10 years to me might be the blink of an eye to the creator. Who am I to question that? If I question that, I'm disturbing myself for no reason. These are answers I don't need to have. Answers of when or how? Why would I need the answer? I know what, I know where. So every day my intention is focused on the what and the where, not the how and not the when. Because I can't always control that. Get into your flow state and just let it be, man. Let it be. Let go of your earthly tether, enter the void, empty, and become wind. So how do you reach this ideal mental state? Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all, it's tough. I compare myself all the time. I think about timelines. I stress about, am I taking too long? Have I lived up to expectations at this point? I'm in my way a lot. I am the resistance a lot. And I'm willing to bet a lot of you guys are too in your lives. So the first piece of advice I would say is find ways to get into the flow state more often. For me, part of that is waking up at 3:30 in the morning, Monday to Friday. There's a concept called transient hypofrontality that I'll make another video on if you guys haven't heard about it yet. But I try to get into the flow state. I sit down on my computer when it's dark out, no lights on. Only thing I hear is maybe some birds chirping, a couple squirrels running around, maybe a couple cars driving by, but it's quiet. My mind is clear and empty. I'm not bombarded by social media. I don't have anybody texting me, nothing in my way. I sit and I create. When you get into the flow state, time disappears. You're so lost in what you're doing, and part of this means you have to do what you love to do. It's so easy to get lost for me writing a song. It's so easy to get lost writing a verse. It's so easy to get lost writing a poem. It's so easy to get lost doing YouTube. It's so easy to get lost in these things. Find things that empower you and that make you feel uplifted to get lost in. time's gonna disappear and you'll naturally start to move more in accordance with nature. You won't question things so much because you'll understand that no matter where you are, no matter how far you are from the goal, you're right where you're supposed to be, as long as your intentions are pure. Another tip I would have is to try to clear your mind if you can. Now, obviously, it's not possible to never have thoughts or to not let things affect you, but, meditation is huge. I think taking time to sit and to process, and when thoughts come, when feelings arise, one concept I enjoy with stoicism is allowing feelings and thoughts to come, but not being controlled or swayed by them, letting them just kind of come and letting them go away. Come and go, come and go. You have to realize that you're not your mind. You know what I'm saying? You have control over this, but this is a powerful thing. This can control you if you let it, but you really have control over this. You choose what you allow to persist. You may have to take a break from things. You may have to go take a walk, go sit in nature, go sit in the park, go outside and read something, right? Get some sunlight, some fresh air, go sit around some trees and flowers. Clear your mind, man. You'll start to feel so much gratitude just for being alive and being able to see and to feel and to touch and to taste and to hear. And you'll naturally start to fall into the flow state. You'll naturally start to embrace this idea of Wu Wei of, yes, I know what I'm working for, but I'm not going to stress about it. Why would I stress? That's pushing it further away. I'm not stressing. I'm working, yes, but I'm working intentionally, I'm working methodically, and I'm not stressing about how long it's going to take. Personal development is huge too, taking time to improve ourselves in any way possible. I hit the gym 6 days a week. I write every day. I work on music every day. So my confidence, my self-belief, I don't ever have to doubt that because I put the work in. Please put the work in on yourself, man. If you need therapy, please go to therapy, man. Let's really take ourselves seriously as men, as women. Let's step it up some, man. You waste so much time on other people who don't matter, doing things that don't matter, that you won't even care about a year from now, 6 months from now. Spend some time on you, man. Because that confidence that you get, that self-belief, that drive, that fire is going to take you from here to there. That fire will have you feeling like, man, you know what? I don't care how far away I am. I don't care how long it might take. I'm right where I need to be. Once again, you're right where you're supposed to be. I can relax. I can allow nature to do its thing. I can go in the flow of nature. I don't have to stress. You should also embrace change. Sometimes things end and people are there for phases, or we have different experiences in our lives that come to an end, and we try so hard to hold on to them. We try so hard to fight for them, even somebody we may love, and maybe we've outgrown each other, and neither one of us wants to admit it because we're so attached. We're so attached to each other, and we love each other so much, but we both realize that this thing is not serving either of us any longer. It's so hard not to fight to stay together, but sometimes the best thing to do is just to move on so that we both can grow independently. And maybe we'll grow together again one day, but right now, our phases come to an end. Jobs, friendships, some family relationships, there's so much that comes to an end and we struggle to let go. When you let go and you understand that everything happens for a reason, when and how it's supposed to happen, you're not going to overthink. You're going to allow things to happen. You're going to observe them, objectively, and you're going to move accordingly. Just enjoy life, man. Let go of worrying about results and numbers and statistics. Of course, all of this stuff matters, man. I'm not going to lie, man. Numbers talk. You know what I'm saying? Numbers talk. I'm a musician. I'm doing all of this. Yeah, I want the numbers. But I know they're going to come when I continue to live in my truth. Living in your truth will bring the numbers when the numbers are ready to come. What they say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. That's going to happen for you. It's going to happen for me. It's going to happen for all of us. We just got to be chill about it, man. The more you chase something forcefully, the further it runs away. The faster it runs away. Everything can fall in your lap. You're going to start to see so many serendipitous things happen to you that it's not even going to feel like reality. It's going to feel like you're living in a dream because it falls in your lap and you're like, I didn't even see this coming. I was just moving in my purpose and it happened. That's how it's supposed to be when you fall in line with flow state and embracing the concept of Wu Wei. Because we shouldn't worry about what we can and can't control. We should just go with what's happening, man. I think life is simple. I think life is very simple. Not easy. Life is not easy. It's incredibly hard. It's incredibly difficult. It's tumultuous at times. It's stressful, traumatizing. But life is simple. In my opinion, the essence of life is to boundlessly self-express, to bring as much light to the world as we can for as long as we possibly can, and to live our truths and make the world better simply because we exist. Stop stressing, stop rushing things, stop trying so hard. Just embrace the phase that you're in, embrace what's happening, and you will find yourself in a very, very beautiful place because you learned to embrace the Taoist concept of Wu Wei. Love, man. That's all I got for y'all.